Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a radiant welcome to each one of you gathered here in the Bhubaneswar Behera Auditorium at the National Institute of Technology, Rourkela, Odisha. Today marks not just the commencement of the 44th Annual Conference of the Indian Association for the Study of Population, but also a confluence of minds and missions. As we navigate through the theme 1.4 billion aspirations, one sustainable future, unfolding India's path to development. As we stand at the curbs of transformative discussions, it is my honor to be your anchor today. I'm Preeti and I will be guiding you through the inaugural ceremony that promises to ignite dialogues, foster collaborations, and inspire actions towards a sustainable future for our vibrant nation. Before we proceed to the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, it is my esteemed privilege to welcome the dignitaries who are the pillars of this grand event. Their presence brings not only gravitas but a vision that will guide our deliberations over the next few days.
At this juncture, I would like to invite our distinguished guests to ascend the dais. Please join me in welcoming them with a round of applause as they take their seats, symbolizing the unity and collective wisdom that will illuminate our path forward. With great respect, I call upon our chief guest, Padma Shri, Professor Digambar Behera, a luminary whose contributions to medicine and society are celebrated across the nation. I am also honored to welcome Professor Suresh Sharma, the President of ISP, whose guidance shapes the contours of our association's journey. Please extend a warm welcome to Professor K. Umamaheshwar Rao, the Director of NIT Rourkela, whose vision and dedication to excellence inspire us all. I am delighted to invite Mr. Sriram Haridass, the Deputy Representative of UNFPA India, whose keynote address we eagerly anticipate. Joining us today is Mr. William Hanlon Jr., the Chief of Field Office, UNICEF Odisha, whose global perspective enriches our understanding and actions. With great delight, I now invite Professor Usha Ram, the General Secretary of ISP. Please welcome Dr. Jitendra Yadav, Treasurer ISP. Sir, we are honored to have you here. Next, I invite Professor Narayan Sethi, the esteemed head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, whose insights and leadership are invaluable to our institution. Now, I call upon Professor Jalandhar Pradhan, the convener of this conference and a beacon of knowledge in the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at NIT Rourkela.
Now, we would like to honor our dignitaries with plants as a token of gratitude from our side. As a token of our deepest esteem, we present these plants to our honored dignitaries on the dais. May these saplings symbolize the growth and flourishing of our shared visions. Truly, May these roots hold firm as our bonds and their foliage spread as wide as our aspirations. With the dignitaries gracing the dais, let us now proceed to the lighting of a lamp, the symbolic act that represents the dispelling of darkness and harbinger of wisdom. I request the dignitaries to lead us in this auspicious beginning of our conference.
Thank you, and let us embrace the spirit of inquiry and collaboration that this day heralds. Welcomes to an event that promises to be as enlightening as the lamp we light today. Now, I have the distinct pleasure of inviting a visionary whose commitment to academia sets the benchmark for all of us, Professor Jalandhar Pradhan. He embodies the spirit of innovation and the pursuit of knowledge that NIT Rourkela stands for. Professor Pradhan's welcome address is not just a formality but a warm embrace to all the intellects present here today, whose words will not only welcome us but also reaffirm our commitment to the goals of this conference. Sir, kindly say a few words.
Thank you, Tanya. Good morning, all. Honorable Chief Guest, Padma Professor Digambar Behera, esteemed guest of honor, Mr. William Hanlon, Jr., respected our director, Professor K. Umamaheshwar, Mr. Sriram Haridass, Deputy Representative of UNFPA, India, Professor Suresh Sharma, President of ISP, Professor Usharam, General Secretary of ISP, Dr. Jitendra Yadav, Treasurer of ISP, and our very own HOD, Professor Narayan Sethi, and our invited speakers, paper presenters, participants, media personals, my dear colleagues and students. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to the 44th Annual Conference of ISP, basically on the theme on 1.4 billion aspiration, one sustainable future, unfolding India's path to development. Indeed, it's a great pleasure for all of us to see you all on the dais. We are grateful to Professor Digambar Behera for accepting our invitation to be as our chief guest for this program. He received Padma Shri honor from the Government of India for his contribution to the field of medicine. In addition, he is the former Dean of Research and Head of the Pulmonary Medicine Department, PGI Chandigarh. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation to part of this inaugural event. I am also thankful to Mr. William Hanlon, Junior Chief of Field Office, UNICEF Odisha, for accepting our invitation to be a guest of honor for this event. Before joining UNICEF, he worked as the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe for decades, first in Georgia for Economic and Environment Officers, and later in Armenia as a Deputy Head of Office Good Governance Program Manager, where he focused local and national government capacity building, human rights protection and economic development, and environment sustainability. He is also alumnus of Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies with a master program in international relations and international economics with a specialization of development economics. Sir, it is a quite fortunate also in our department also we have a MA program in development studies. So in future also we can have a lot of discussion regarding this. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. We are fortunate enough to that our respected director, Professor K. Umamaheshwar, for accepting our invitation to be a part of this event. His continuous effort to lead NIT Rourkela as one of the best educational institutes in India always inspire us to achieve something greater. Under his leadership, NIT Rourkela has made some remarkable achievement during recent past at both national as well as the international level. Recently, the Times Higher Education World University Ranking 2024 has placed NIT Rourkela in the bracket of 601 and within 800. Overall, and our overall NIRF ranking is 37, and in engineering we are placed at 16. So indeed, we are very much thankful for his unconditional support to organize this conference. I am also thankful to Mr. Sriram Haridass, Deputy Representative of UNFPA India, accepting our invitation to give the keynote address during this inaugural function. Mr. Haridass is working in the areas of population and development from the equity perspective. I am also thankful to ISP, especially Professor Suresh Sharma, President of ISP, Professor Usharam, General Secretary of ISP, Dr. Jitendra Yadav, Treasurer, and Dr. Ajay Kumar Singh, Joint Secretary of ISP, giving us this opportunity to organize this conference. So, welcome, sir, madam, to this inaugural session. I am also thankful to our HOD, Professor Narayan Sethi, for providing all necessary support for organizing these conferences. I should also mention, without fail, my heartfelt thanks to our administration, especially our registrar and our all deans, and my support team, especially Tamal, Binayak, Gita, Vijita, Tapas, and all my colleagues from HS department, and all our master and PhD students who have put their valuable time and effort to make this conference a grand success. Keeping all this in mind, I introduce here with the theme of the conference of this 44th Annual ISP Conference. Basically, it's on 1.4 billion aspirations, one sustainable future, unfolding India's path to development. As we all know, India became the most populous country in the world, having the population about 1.4 billion. Being the world's population country, India poses significant challenges and also immense opportunity for the sustainable development. The challenges, as we all know, challenges includes rapid urbanizations, ensuring economic growth, addressing poverty and inequality, and providing access to education, healthcare, and basic amenities. But at the same time, we have the milestone to also present opportunity for economic growth, innovation, and social progress, using the demographic development aspects. By adopting sustainable development strategy, India can harness the demographic dividend and promote environmental sustainability, prioritizing social inclusion, leverage technology and innovation to create the prosperous, equitable future for all its citizens. The 44th Annual ISP Conference will provide a platform especially for demographers and all social scientists to showcase research findings and these critical issues. The conference aims to address the critical topics like population, economic growth, social development, environment sustainability, and inclusivity. The conference has planned as 2 plenary sessions and 15 technical sessions, also 2 poster sessions. Also some of the, we are going to felicitate some of the demographer in this 3 days of conference. This conference is basically organized by the Center of Excellence on Public Health and Nutrition in the set up in the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences in collaboration with the ISP. Basically, our HS department provides full-time PhD program, also executive PhD program in the discipline of English, psychology, economics, anthropology, Sanskrit, and sociology. And also we are providing an MA master program in development studies. And also we provide for electives courses for BTech and postgraduate students of this institute. So our department started this COE Public Health Nutrition in 2009 in collaboration with the UNICEF. So I am extremely thankful to the UNICEF, especially Mr. William and Mr. Saurav Bhattacharjee, who is also a convener of these conferences, for providing necessary technical and financial support to run this center. The basic objective of this COE is to strengthen the collaboration and knowledge management regarding food and nutrition security and public health nutrition. I am happy to share that about 200 speakers will be sharing their ideas and thoughts on different aspects of population and sustainable future. On concluding remark, we are immensely thankful all funding agencies, especially Population Council, UNFPA, PATH, USAID, UNICEF, for their necessary support in organizing this 3-day conference. We hope the conference will facilitate knowledge sharing among the Western gathering, and that will contribute towards expanding the existing canons of population studies in the context of sustainable development goals. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Following the thread of wisdom, we are graced by the presence of Professor Narayan Sethi, the esteemed head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at NIT Rourkela. His leadership and insights are the bedrock upon which our academic pursuits are built. We request sir to kindly say few words.
Good morning everyone. I welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of 44th Annual Conference of IASP 2023 on the theme 1.4 billion aspirations, one sustainable future, unfolding India's path to the development. I welcome all the esteemed dignitaries on the dais, our chief guest, Padma Shri Digambar Behera, our guest of honor, Mr. William, Director of NIT Rourkela, Professor K. Umamaheshwar, and other guests whose presence will be enlightening for us, Mr. Sriram Haridass, Professor Suresh Sharma, Professor Usha Ram, Dr. Jitendra Yadav. As we all know, NIT Rourkela is one of the premier institutes in the country, and we are privileged to host this conference to cater the research and critical awareness nationwide. We are glad to inform you that NIT Rourkela was one of the anchoring institutes during G20 summit. It motivated youth and created awareness on themes like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and digital analytics. We promoted the idea of Jan Bhagidari, which includes the participation of people from all stages and ages of life. We abide by the feelings of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, and one future. NIT Rourkela campus is one of the best campuses in India, which is situated in the lap of nature. It is covered with natural beauty, and it is one of the most important institutes in our country that shows the remarkable career excellence. NIT Rourkela is not known only for the career excellence, but also culture, sports, and extracurricular activities. Unlike many other institutes, you can find a green campus here far away from pollution and noise. There are hill ranges, waterfalls, as well as the river sides that soothe your mind with peace and beauty. I hope your visit at the campus during early November, it will give you the fine experience that you will cherish for long. We are looking forward to interact with you and make your stay pleasant and experience. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Professor K. Umamaheshwar Rao, the Honorable Director of NIT Rourkela. Words would fall short describing the honor of his work. It's our privilege to have him as our patron, who motivates us and the Institute to perform better in every sphere and aim toward excellence. He is a good orator, good teacher, and moreover, he is a very good human being. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation despite your hectic schedule and encouraging us. Even he informed that late night he reached the campus from the Sambalpur yesterday night. And it's my pleasure to welcome our chief guest, Padma Shri Professor Digambar Behera. He received the prestigious Padma Shri Award in 2020 for his excellence in pulmonary medicine. He was former dean and head pulmonary medicine department, PGIMER, Chandigarh. His contribution in the field of medical science is really inspiring for us. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation despite your busy schedule and encouraging us. Our our guest of honor, Mr. William, the Chief Field Office, UNICEF Odisha. Before joining UNICEF, he worked with the Organization for Security Cooperation in Europe for a decade. First in Georgia as the Economic and Environmental Officer, and later in the Armenia as the Deputy Head Office, Governance Program Manager, where he focused on the local and national government capacity building, human rights protection, economic development, and environmental stewardship. It is a great honor to have him with us, sir. So we are grateful to all the dignitaries present on the stage and welcome them with the heartfelt warmth and gratitude on behalf of the Department of Humanities and Social Science, NIT Rourkela. The Department of Humanities and Social Science is one of the oldest departments in this institute that caters various subjects like economics, English, Sanskrit, psychology, anthropology, sociology. Our department promotes 2 centers of excellence, public health nutrition, and another one is tribal studies. The glory of our department is from our knowledgeable and supportive faculty members. It is a vibrant and active space for research. We offer MA course in development studies, and our students show their excellence all over the country and beyond. This is the only department that incorporates all other departments in institute through its interdisciplinary mode of teaching. I am proud to announce that this is the department. The department is one of the best among all NITs in India and performing much better than many other top institutes in terms of the research, publication, and project, even that some of the new IITs. This department regularly organizes workshops, conferences, seminars on different topics that create platform for knowledge exchange and intellectual exercise. I welcome all the enthusiastic participants who have joined us for the conference from all over the country. The number of applicants for the conference was huge. It was a tough scrutiny, but we have tried our best to do justice to every new research idea across the country. We are glad to have you all here with us. No doubt it is going to be an encouraging and enriching experience to hear from so many invited speakers and scholars on population and sustainable futures. As head of the department, I must congratulate our faculty, all faculty members, particularly Professor Jalandhar Pradhan, for organizing such a remarkable conference on burning issue in recent times. I must thank IASP for their collaboration and all possible cooperation to organize the conference. I hope this conference will serve as a good platform for collaboration and networking among the researchers. So I would like to say that this department is looking forward for the same in the near future for outstanding research output. I welcome you all once again to 3-day conference on the theme 1.4 billion aspirations, one sustainable future, unfolding India's path to the development. Thank you. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening the audience about our department and setting a profound tone for the discourse to follow. The Indian Association for the Study of Population is a beacon of knowledge, and leading its luminous path is Professor Suresh Sharma. As the president of ISP, his address will undoubtedly chart out the roadmap for the association's vision and our conference's mission. His address today is much awaited, as it will chart the course for our collective journey during this conference and beyond. We request sir to kindly say few words.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and dear my friend and scholars. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all in Rourkela for the 44th annual conference of the ISP. It is my great honor and privilege to extend very warm welcome to the Honorable Chief Guest Padma Shri Professor Digambar Behera, former Dean, Head PGI Chandigarh, Director NIT Rourkela, Professor K. Umamaheshwar, Director NIT Rourkela, Professor Narayan Sethi, Head Department Humanity and Social Science, NIT Rourkela, Mr. William, Chief Field Officer, UNICEF, Odisha. I would like to very warm welcome to UNFPA Representative Shri Sriram Haridass, UNFPA. My special thanks go to Professor Jalanda Pradhan, Professor Department of Humanity and Social Science, NIT Rourkela, and his NIT team enabling their tireless efforts. I am also thankful to Professor K. Umamaheshwar Rao, Director NIT Rourkela, to extend and his generous support toward this conference. I would like to thank here the Registrar NIT Rourkela also. I would like to express my deep gratitude and congratulate my colleagues from ISP, Professor Usha Ram, General Secretary, and Dr. Jitendra Yadav, Treasurer, and all my dear EC and BOT member and former President Professor Sudesh Nagia and Professor F. Ram, and our good friend Dr. Ajay Kumar Singh and Rajesh Chauhan. Let me bring by providing the brief overview of the IASP. The IASP serves a professional organization, Indian demographer, public health specialist, development scientist. It is one of the country's oldest association, was officially registered in 1971 by the Institute of Economic Growth, Delhi. The established ISP is actively engaged various academic endeavors. It has successfully organized 43 annual conference and regional chapter across the country. And its very first annual conference took place the India Institute of Economic Growth. Additionally, ISP also hosted international conferences such as IUSSP. Subsequently, last year, the Indian Association Study of Population took initiative established regional chapters for North India and Northeast. One of these regional chapters was set up in the picturesque region Jammu and Kashmir in north part of India. Establishment of the chapters marked in part the being the academic and research activity ISP closer to scholar and professionals and student in regions. In the Northeast India, another regional chapters, the ISP was founded especially at Bodoland University in Assam. The chapter served in vital hubs and those interested in the field of demography, public health, development scientists in Northeast. By establishing this regional chapter, ISP aimed promote the research, knowledge exchange, collaboration of region known unique demographic and cultural characteristics. Both these regional chapters play a significant role forecasting academic and research activity within their respective regions. They provided platform for the scholar, researcher, student engaged with latest development in the field of population study and health and development. Today we are marking 44 additional edition of the annual conference. I am particularly thrilled welcome all of you. This conference significant is marks the first time that ISP is organized in event NIT Rourkela, Odisha. These conferences have involved beyond being mere platform exchange the academic research. They have become opportunity to translate evidence into the actionable solution. I am deeply honored to address you today, the 44th annual conference of the ISP. Our theme of this conference, 1.4 million aspiration and one sustainable future unfolding India path to development. This is testimony of the rich Tapsi Dream Exchange define the journey of India, 1.4 million people towards a more prosperous and sustainable future. India is diverse culture, traditional language, landscapes. It is a country like no other. It is nation remarkable contrast where ancient traditional coexist within modern amenities. Our 1.4 million aspirations are wide as a color of holy, and yet all are united by common desire for better tomorrow. The path sustainable development is not a destiny, it's the ongoing journey. It is journey to required deliberate action and collective efforts and commitment to value that define our nation. So how we unfold India path development in a manner that inclusive, equitable and sustainable. First and foremost, we must acknowledge that every Indian life invaluable, every dream is worth pursuing, regardless socio-economic background, gender, caste, and every citizen inspiration would be respective support, inclusive, not just words, but foundation upon our sustainable future must be built. Education lies as a heart of inclusive. We must ensure every child, regardless where they are born or circumstances they are born into, has across equality education. Education is the great equalizer, providing knowledge and skills need to pursue one of the aspiration and contributed nation development. Furthermore, sustainable is just about safeguard our environment, about the protecting cultural diversity, India rich culture, typically invaluable asset. And we must ensure prevents our future generation. Sustainable development involve respectively promoting indigenous knowledge, traditional and practice that have been harmony with nature centuries. Moreover, private sector has also crucial role to play. Business must prioritize sustainable practice, not only protect environment but contribute economic growth and job creation. The sustainable business approach can lead win-win solution where professionally environment respective go hand in hand. 1.4 million aspiration, one sustainable future is just a slogan, not a slogan, but it is also called action. India path development must one hope, progress and harmony. We must unfleet every Indian protest our environment and collective global skills address to challenges our time. Let us work hand to hand unfold path in respect our 1.4 million aspiration leading to future where development is only sustainable but also leave a legacy, prosperity, justice and comparison generation of come. Over the year, ISP annual conference become a pioneer platform sharing idea, deepening of understanding population, health and development related issues. This surplus 8 million population marked in the opportunity movement reconsider population development and access opportunity and challenge that lies ahead. The recent challenge we have faced and underscored importance of systematic thinking and collaborative efforts were confined the most significant crisis. India and China, two most populous nations, face unique population and health challenges. China has a history implementing the top-down policy, such as one-child policy, which has significant impact of population control. India approach more decentralization, with various states implementing their own policies and program address population and health issues. While both India and China grasp population health challenges, their approaches, demographic, healthcare system differ significantly. China has focused on the population control, invest heavily health infrastructure, while India faced duly challenges for managing rapidly growing population and improving healthcare access and quality. India continuously experiences rapid population growth. It becomes imperative focus on policy strategy promoting economic growth, environment sustainability, social well-being. The demographic transformation presents both opportunity and challenge, emphasizes importance of earnings and potential of young workforce, while simultaneously addressing issues related resources allocation, urbanization, and healthcare access. Rethink population growth, a global perspective. The population growth is complex issue with stacked inequality across country and region. It is crucial knowledge that rate of population growth very significantly, and over the 70% growth of 7 million to 8 million organizing from low and low middle income country, including India. Looking ahead, over the 90% of the next billion is expected come these same nations. In stark contrast, countries like Japan, South Korea, and several European nations have either stabilized their population or are experiencing declines. The dynamic population growth are primarily driven by the rising fertility, declining mortality rate, resulting increasing life expectancy at life birth. However, international migration has become a significant factor some part of the world. Altering demographic landscape give these trend and statistics three crucial scenario emerging, demanding therefore policy formulation on the global scales. First, country with persistently high fertility rate but prepare the address to meet their growing young population. The project more birth poorer country means that these nations will be youthful workforce in the year to come. This youth can potentially drive innovation and economic growth just as in the past. These harness and potential these countries must prioritize quality education, job creation, provide opportunity their burning youth. Second, country experiencing declining in the fertility rate have unique opportunity leverage of demographic dividend. They must invest human capital by ensuring access healthcare and quality education for people all the age, with the opportunity for productive employment. The third scenario involves the country with aging population. The proportion of older persons in these nations growing, requiring urgent measures, adopting public program to be need of the elderly. The including established universal health care, long-term care system, as well-being enhancing sustainable and social security and pension system. Now turning on the focus of India, country that stand across the road, India currently one of the world's fastest growing major economy. In the past 2 years, it reached significant demographic milestone as a total fertility fall below the replacement level in evidence from the latest NFHS data. India population at 1.4 million is a world youngest and on average 28.4 years. However, projected aging will be reduced demographic dividend by 2045. India enjoys the favorable position, working age population ratio is set of increasing until 2045, even the declining other part of the world. The challenges for India lies fulfill capitalization on the demographic dividend, and notably India and also experiencing increasing trend, population aging, changing family structure, limited social provision, presenting policy makers, and urgent economic, health, and social changes. With all these development factors affecting demography, there are few challenges that lie ahead for us. As continuous grasping dynamic factor shaping global demography, several pressing challenges confront us. The profound implement for our bird future, population growth and climate change. The growth of human population coupled with the dependence of fuels and fuel increasing mechanized lifestyle and critical factors accelerating climate change. Reproductive health access. The high fertility country face significant challenge in providing access sexual and reproductive health care, including contraception for women and girls in the 2020-21. Approximately 10% babies worldwide were born mother by 20 years old. In India, adolescent fertility for women aged 15 to 19 estimated at 43 births per thousand women. Underscoring urgency improving access to reproductive health care and education. Population growth, sustainable development. The interplay between population growth and sustainable development is multi-phased. The growing population exists increasing pressure both nation and mankind resources, making it more challenges, eradicate poverty, combined hunger and malnutrition, extend both education system. And converging achieve sustainable development, particularly more related health, education, gender equality, can help reduce fertility rate and grow global population growth. The 2030 Agenda Sustainable Development underscored that people are at the heart of the sustainable development. To address this need, we must adopt the more integrated approach, sharp various front achieve sustainable development objective, meeting healthcare need to population and one crucial front. Reproductive health has been successfully integrated into the nation strategy and program, enhancing universal access and sexual reproductive health care services in comprising family planning, education, information dimensions. This progress is testimony provided impact coherent and comprehensive policy can be enhancing well-being, future perspective of our population. These challenges call coordination, forwarding thinking approach. The compel us to address environment consequences, population growth, promote reproductive health access, and harmonize population and health policy and drive population and sustainable development by addressing these challenges collectively. We can also more equitable healthcare and sustainable future for all. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in India consequently demonstrated unwavering commitment addressing involving healthcare need to change the population through the decided efforts in charted path ensuring well-being every citizen by introducing target health program to live on one behind. Like one most significant milestone India healthcare journey to universal health coverage and noble goal seeking make healthcare not providing but right to all, fundamental right for all. The aspiration of this health policy and national health mission stand primary vehicle realizing the dream of universal health care. One of the provision for noble objective Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana and integrated Ayushman Bharat initiatives. And dear my friends, as a community researcher working in the area of population and health, it is our duty to provide research input that can be utilized to the future to goal achieve towards sustainable development goal. I hope the next 3 days be spent discuss our research finding, dimension, population growth, and will not be depending understanding the subject, but also bringing target response policy formulation. And I would like to convey my deep appreciation our esteemed partner whose generous support has been made conference a reality. My heartily congratulate extend UNFPA for special acknowledgement to Sriram and and as well as USID Dr. Subutru Mandal. I would want to express my gratitude and esteemed learning partner Path Behera under the expert guidance by the Dr. Niranjan from the Population Council of India. The significant contribution of Professor Abhishek Singh and his team from IIPS and NIT Rourkela are equally deserve special recognition. It is your invaluable support, collective efforts that allow to gathering to come fortunate. On behalf of ISP, I extend my sincere appreciation to each of our partners. I eagerly anticipated enlightening plenary session and knowledge exchange that lies ahead. Last but certainly not least, I wish express my gratitude to the scholars, participants of this conference who have joined us today for all the corner of India. Thank you all.
At the helm of a prestigious institution is a leader whose vision transcends the ordinary. Professor K. Umamaheshwar Rao, the esteemed director of NIT Rourkela. His address is never just a message, but a manifesto for our collective aspirations for the future. His foresight extends beyond the academic halls, encompassing the welfare of all beings, from the smallest of animals to the largest of the institutions, reflecting a deep-rooted commitment to all forms of life. Under his stewardship, NIT Rourkela has not only been a cradle for the aspirations of countless students, but has become a beacon of inspiration, illuminating the path of progress with the light of knowledge and innovation. Sir has worked very hard to elevate the institute's standing. He has expressed a goal to propel NIT Rourkela into the top 10 of the National Institutional Ranking Framework NIRF rankings. Today, our focus turns to sustainable future, a vision ardently championed by Sir, whose Clean Campus Drive has consistently set a benchmark for eco-conscious initiatives within our institution. Sir, we would kindly request you to enlighten us with your words.
The most distinguished dignitaries on dais, our chief guest of the morning, Shri Padma Shri Digambar Behera ji, former Dean Research and Head of Pulmonary Medicine Department of PGIMER, Chandigarh, and guest of honor, Mr. Williams, Chief of Field Office, UNICEF, and special guest, Shri Sriram Haridass from Sri Lanka, Deputy Representative of UNFPA, and Ma'am Usharam, General Secretary, IASP, and President IASP, Professor Suresh Sharma ji, and my faculty colleagues on the dais, Dr. Jitendra Yadav, Treasurer IASP, and my faculty colleagues and dignitaries of the dais, ladies and gentlemen, and my dearest students. I take this opportunity to welcome you all to this 3-day program of the 44th Annual Conference of IASP, which is being organized jointly, and then NIT Rourkela is one such institution in that. The theme is really very interesting in the sense that 1.4 billion aspirations and one sustainable future, unfolding India's path to development. It is absolutely a relevant topic here for the morning for all of you to really think and then look at that particular aspect of that one. I start with where Professor Narayan Shetty has really ended, that in the recently concluded G20 summit, India has come out strong and loud and clear in stating that we believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that means one planet, one family, and one future. And we have been declaring that time and again, in spite of whatever we are and whichever the development we are in. We understood the word sustainability more than any other country which has been really harping about the word sustainability. And then we have really practiced many sustainable procedures in our lifestyle as well as in our industrial growth as well. Having said this one, the word sustainability, in my personal opinion, it doesn't carry meaning unless we understand what exactly we mean by sustainability. Every era, every decade has a different objective and a different goal also. We are now entered into a digital era, and the life has changed dramatically. So much so that there is something, even the faith is not being sustained about the other. Just this morning I read in paper that there is deep fake applications of this artificial intelligence. To what extent to believe, to what extent to really accept the news as the news which has credibility. We are now come to that particular stage where we cannot even believe one's idea or a thought or even published data. We are in that particular era of vulnerability, and then looking for the word, the meaning of sustainability, when we are vulnerable for various things. Sustainability becomes a meaningful objective only when everyone comes together and tries to understand what exactly we have got to do to make the system sustainable. 1.4 billion population, I never consider Indian population has any time ever been a liability to the country or to the world. It has been contributing in manifold ways to the growth of the globe, and more so, it is heralded or declared or showcased in the recent COVID-19. It was a global pandemic when the entire globe was surviving on one vaccine, and that has come from India, right? And then India thought whatever the vaccine that we produce not for only Indians, we produce for humanity, and that's what we have declared. And in fact, it is the country which has even supplied this COVID vaccine against so many criticism, so much of an opposition. It has even supplied free of cost to the developing nations. This is our philosophy, and this is exactly what we believe in, because we have understood, quote unquote, the word sustainability. Your welfare, your well-being is our welfare, and our well-being is what we have been declaring time and again. So now the only question which really comes into my mind is that what really makes a country or the planet sustainable? That we just have to understand the Panchbhutas very clearly. One is about the water, other is about the energy, third is the climate or the atmosphere, and the fourth is the soil, and then fifth is the entire, I would say that humanity. In all these things, we are now coming to a point of crisis. A day is very shortly be coming when we will all be fighting for drinking water. Okay, a day will be very soon be coming for all these seminar halls will be blacked out because of not availability of the power. And more so, India is one country where, okay, we are still dependent on 70% of the fossil fuels for power generation. We do not have any other alternative source. That exactly is another point of the concern for all of us. If we have got to remain sustainable, we have got to focus our thoughts on what exactly are the needs for the future. First is energy, second is drinking water. And then health has been the case for India, and then I don't really have any doubt about the improvement in the health sector. The reason is that I very much believe what I read is true, not like deep fake news, that India before independence, the average life expectancy was less than 30, and today we are inching towards 70, as much as any of the developed nations. That is the growth in which our healthcare system in India has provided to the people. The question is about the food grains, right? 1.4 billion population, and Narayan Murthy in his Unbound India stated that 30% of the Indian population is still living below poverty line. But then our cold storages have enough food. And it's one thing which I really do not understand. When we have surplus grains, why there is still starvation? I don't know. Why? What exactly is the reason? What exactly is the policy? If we have got to sustain the life, because life is a beautiful opportunity, as one of the anchor persons was describing, that I really consider that life is a beautiful opportunity for us as well as even a tiny ant also. All of us have, it's a one single opportunity. In that, if I consider that your well-being is in my hands or in my thoughts or in my actions, what's wrong in trying to really make the food available for everyone instead of making our statistics read bad that 30% of the population is still living below poverty line. Okay, world across has enough food grains, and the amount of money that we spend on the healthcare or the pharmaceuticals, if that is really transferred or transformed or translated into the human development, I don't think there is any reason why any part of the globe, any inch of the globe should be living in starvation. So many billions and billions of dollars is spent on the pharmaceutical company, and which we really do not know. Suddenly we read that 7.5 HbA1c is also fine. But then it was less than 6 was not fine. And then today you just try to say that even that is also fine. 120/80, the BP measurement, the ratio. They said that this is the Lakshmana Rekha and it should not be up or down, anything like that. And today 140/90 is also fine. But how is it changing? It is the same human being, the system. Right? But then your bar is increasing. And then in this particular process, who is the beneficiary? I must have been taking the pills for almost more than a decade for not really having blood pressure and creating myself vulnerable for blood pressure. Right? So no, I think our Dr. Padma Shri should be able to really explain that. These are the points, because business has to be dealing from the objective of sustainable development. Only when we really de-link that and then try to see as a life and try to see life as an opportunity, I think the sustainability word has a meaning, and then when whatever we are trying to work towards, that one gives a meaning. I don't know how much time I have. I don't want you to put me asleep here, but then the question is that I have a small story to share. Do I have time? This story I have read in Times of India some time ago. It's about a group of people. We are really struggling a lot in a small village to make a history in that particular village. And in that, one of them is a farmer, and he has the farming land and he is doing very well, but then he has a feeling that he wants to become rich overnight. He wanted to become rich overnight, and then he is an ardent believer of Umamaheshwar, not me, Lord. He is not a believer of Umamaheshwar Rao, but then he is a believer of Lord Jagannath, Mahadev Umamaheshwar, and then Lord Maheshwar came, and then he said, Bhola, God. He said that, what do you want? So that whatever I want, you please have to give me, because all my life I have sacrificed to you in the praise and then worship of you, And then God said that because Maheshwar has third eye also, right? So no, he just thought something, dal mein kuch kala hai, lagta hai. So I said that, okay, I'll give you. I'm really happy with you, my ardent devotee, right? I'll give you, but then one condition, whatever I give double of that one to your neighbors. Is that fine? Then this man thought that for a while, he is not a dull dumber, right? He is passed out from NIT, Rourkela. And then he said that he has given me a blessing, but then in that there is a condition, that whatever he gives me, he is going to give double to others. And then this is not sustainable. Because I want to become rich, I never want others to become rich. And doubly rich. This is something which is very bad. Right? So, America wants to become rich. Please forgive me for that. It doesn't want others to become rich. That is the condition here. Right? So now that is where we are really stuck in. We want to really grow, but we don't want others also to grow along with us. And then वो एकदम बहुत ही सुनसान जगह पे बैठा है, and then he is really getting weaker and weaker. He is not really having food properly and going into sleepless nights. And then his wife got really worried. Right, you were really keeping good health. 120/80 was your BP, and then HbA1c was also fine. And then what suddenly happened to you that you are really starving, going thin to the bones? Then he said that this is the issue. The issue is that Bhagwan he has given me blessing, but then he put a condition that along with us, our neighbors are also becoming doubly rich. Hey, kaisa hoga? Then she is wise. Definitely women are wiser than men. Yes. She said that I have a friend, he is from IIT, not NIT. And let us take his advice. And then she goes to the neighbor, and the neighbor murmurs in her ear, this is what you do. And then she is thrilled. I got the solution. Because you go to IIT, you get the solution. Right? And then she comes thrilled, and then tells her husband that this is the solution, that why do you really worry about it? He is also thrilled. And the next day he goes back and then prays for God Mahadev. And Mahadev आ जाता है, आने के बाद पूछता है कि हो गया आपका प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गया? प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गया सर, एक ही बात है कि आप मुझे जो भी देंगे दुगना बगल वालों को देंगे ना. So now I have only 3 things to ask you. Right? You give me 3 things. Okay? And then Mahadev, he didn't really, because he is not from any JE or any such thing, so he said that, fine, whatever you ask, I am going to give double to others. Then fine, and then he asked, go ahead and then ask the question. He says that, I want to have a palatial mansion, right, for me to live in. Remember, your neighbors are going to get 2. He says that, no issues, sir, no issues. And go ahead. And then he said that, that's blessed. Blessed are you with the palatial mansion. He got it. And then what is the next one? The next one he says is that I need a deep, large diameter and filled with water well. It's not a small well, it's a big pond sort of thing, very deep and full of water. Okay? Just in front of my gate. Then Mahadev asked him that, are you sure what you are asking? Then he said that, fine. I'm very, very fine with that. So that Thadastu. He got 2 and his neighbors got 2 each. And then theek hai. Then Umamaheshwar started becoming nervous because the third one is going to be much more dangerous than the second one. And then he asked, chalo third wala puchi lo to de hi denge. Then he said that you take away 1 eye of mine. महादेव ने धर्म संकट में पहुंच गया. What is sustainable then? We are now got fixed up in this particular thing. Nature is ready to give us, bless us with all. But then, what we are really trying to demand is that what I want for my well-being, I do not want for others. मुझे एक आंख तो निकाल दो ताकि कंप्लीट दुनिया अंधेरे में रह जाएगा. So now the word sustainability understands. If you de-link that from the business, and I think it has a meaning. With these few words, I thank everyone. And let me tell you one thing, all of you, ladies and gentlemen, NIT Rourkela is a beautiful campus in the city, Steel City, a lush green in a silent valley, and then take a stroll in the morning. You have the fog, not like Delhi fog, right? It is absolutely a pure 24 carats dustless fog. And then NIT Rourkela is one campus. Again, somewhere somebody said that don't chase a butterfly, rather you make your garden such that butterflies come chasing to your garden. Okay, so now this campus, you find thousands, if it is a little exaggeration, millions of different varieties of butterflies on campus. This is a beautiful campus, and then a month later, right, you find that every single rose and then various other plants will be blooming with beautiful flowers, and then there is a scent of gentle fragrance on campus, butterflies all around, a lovely silent valley, dust-free, and a beautiful campus. Enjoy your stay here in NIT Rourkela. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you for your insightful address on the India's sustainable future and for sharing the delightful story. It really brought a human touch to the vision of sustainable future. It was inspiring to hear your forward-thinking perspective. We are also honored to have amongst us Mr. William Hanlon Jr., the Chief Field Officer, UNICEF in Odisha. His special address is a testament to the global partnership and universal goals that we strive to achieve through our deliberations. His role with UNICEF in Odisha brings global perspective to our local aspirations, reminding us that our actions here resonate well beyond our immediate surrounding. Sir, please.
Thank you, and good morning. And dear dignitaries on the dais, to Padma Shri, Professor Digambar Behera, to Professor Rao of NIT Rourkela, to Professor Seti, NIT Rourkela, to Professor Pradhan, NIT Rourkela, to Professor Sharma, President IASP, to Mr. Sriram from UNFPA, Deputy Representative, to Professor Ram, General Secretary IASP, to Dr. Yandav, IASP. Thank you very much, and happy to be here today. And I'd like to start and say that today I stand before you with great optimism and hope as we embark on a journey to explore the immense potential of a nation of 1.4 billion aspirations, all united under the banner of a sustainable future. India, with its rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions, is a beacon of resilience and hope. As we gather here, we must recognize the immense responsibility that is before us in shaping the future of this vibrant nation. The path to development is not a solitary road, but rather a collective endeavor that requires the dedication and commitment of every citizen. The nation harbors dreams, and it is incumbent upon all to ensure that every voice is heard and every dream is nurtured. In this pursuit, sustainability must be our guiding principle. The challenges facing our planet are well documented and known: climate change, resource depletion, and environmental degradation. It is imperative that we must protect this earth. Leaving behind a legacy of responsible stewardship for generations to come. Our development must be harmonized, striking a balance that allows us to thrive without compromising the well-being of our planet or compromising the world for future generations. To achieve this, we must harness the power of innovation and technology. India has already shown tremendous strides in areas like renewable energy, information technology, and biotechnology. By investing in research and development, we can create solutions that not only address our own challenges, but also contribute to the global fight against climate change and environmental degradation. Nutrition is a critical part of health and development. Better nutrition is related to improved infant, child, and maternal health, stronger immune systems, safer pregnancy and childbirth, lower risk of non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and longevity. Healthy children learn better. People with adequate nutrition are more productive and can create opportunities to gradually break that cycle of poverty and hunger. The Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, were adopted by the UN and they are the most widely recognized blueprint for a sustainable future. They remain a mirror to some of the key global challenges we face, including poverty, inequality, environmental degradation, hunger, and poor health. With the COVID-19 pandemic having already radically affected our economies and societies, it is important to note where we were, where we are now, and where we could be while working towards the realizations of the SDGs, especially SDGs 1, 2, and 3 that deal with abolishing poverty, hunger, and gaining good health. The SDGs will continue to be a call for the world to come together to find urgent solutions to pressing problems. Additionally, it is imperative that we prioritize healthcare and well-being. A healthy populace is a productive populace, and we must invest in robust healthcare systems that leaves no one behind. This includes not only physical health, but also mental and emotional well-being, recognizing that true development encompasses every facet of human existence. Proper nutrition in the early years can break the cycle of malnutrition. Well-nourished mothers are more likely to give birth to healthy babies, who in turn have a better chance of growing up to be healthy adults. This has a positive impact on future generations. Malnutrition is also a major contributing factor to child mortality in India. By ensuring proper nutrition for both mothers and children, we can significantly reduce the risk of illness and mortality among infants and young children. Malnourished children often face cognitive impairments that can have long-lasting effects on their educational attainment and future prospects. Proper nutrition in childhood leads to higher educational attainment and improved cognitive abilities, which in turn contribute to increased economic productivity in adulthood. Well-nourished individuals are more likely to secure better jobs and earn higher incomes. Maternal nutrition is key determinant of a child's health and well-being. When mothers receive proper nutrition, it improves their overall health, reduces the risk of complications during pregnancy and childbirth, and enables them to care for their children effectively. Adequately nourished individuals are better equipped to withstand and recover from infectious diseases. This is particularly important in the context of public health crises like pandemics. Malnutrition further places a significant burden on healthcare systems, as it leads to increased healthcare costs and a higher demand for medical interventions. Prioritizing nutrition can alleviate some of this burden. In conclusion, the path to India's development is a journey that requires the collective effort of everyone. By embracing sustainability, harnessing the power of innovation, ensuring access to quality education, promoting economic inclusivity, and prioritizing healthcare and well-being, we can unfold a future where India stands as a beacon of hope and progress for the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for an enlightening address. The keynote address, a cornerstone for today's program, will be delivered by Mr. Sriram Haridass, the Deputy Representative of UNFPA India. His insights are sure to be a guiding star as we navigate through the complex constellation of population studies. His address is sure to be a highlight for today's program. Thank you, sir.
Padma Shri Professor Digambar Behera, Professor K. Umamaheshwar Rao, Director NIT Rourkela, Professor Suresh Sharma, President IASP, Professor Narayan Sethi, Professor Jalandhar Pradhan, Professor Usharam, Dr. Jitendra Yadav, and my colleague Mr. William from UNICEF. Distinguished scholars, ladies and gentlemen, students, Namaskar. Good morning to everyone. I'm really delighted to be here. UNFPA has been partnering with IASP for many years. A couple of years back, I delivered a keynote lecture via Zoom, recorded one. So really happy to be here in person. That's one reason, and any reason to get out of the pollution of Delhi. So and to be in such a nice campus like this, so there is added bonus as well. So really happy to be here. I just want to start with an anecdote. Couple of months back, I was in a meeting of UN colleagues. As William and other UN colleagues would attest, sometimes these meetings get very testy, very argumentative. No, I'm joking, it's all very cordial, just exchange of ideas. We were discussing some other issue. Suddenly, one of my UN colleagues, and I'm not going to mention the name of the agency or the name of the person, just got up. And she suddenly said, no one is talking about the elephant in the room, So everyone was just looking at her like, what is she going to say? Like, what does she mean? And this is when the news had just broken out that India has surpassed China and then become the most populous nation in the world. So we were looking at her and she was like, look, we are not discussing that, India has become the most populous nation. What is the UN doing to address this? How are we going to reverse this? And I was representing UNFPA in this forum. So suddenly I could see 50 people looking at me because, they wanted me to answer her. I did not try to answer her, but I asked her a counter question. Okay, tell me, what is the right population size for India? Is it like 1 billion? Is it 1.2 billion? Is it 500 million? Of course, there was no answer because there is no right population size for any country. Ultimately, it comes down to rights and choices, the freedom of individuals to choose how many kids they want to have, when they want to have, how they want to space. So the point I want to make is that, previous speakers did talk, especially Professor Rao said this 1.4 billion population is an asset, is India's strength. I think there is increasing realization of that. But I wanted to make the point that over centuries, people have raised concerns about, including now, even in an organization like UN, although the person is not from UNFPA, have always raised concerns about population trends. And it has actually, I would say, worked both ways. If you look at history, it's just not that, people have always raised concern about increasing population. It has worked the other way as well. For example, 1932, British intellectual Aldous Huxley, he published one of his most famous genre dystopian literature called Brave New World. In this work, Huxley actually envisaged a situation where the state of the human beings they have intentionally abandoned natural reproduction. So there's a population decrease which is happening. and there is increased anxieties in the world about decreasing population. And then, of course, on the other end of the spectrum, we have Malthus, who feared the opposite, that the population would in fact outgrow the food production, that people would starve. That fortunately has not happened. Despite all the population growth, science and technology has kept up. People have not gone hunger because of lack of food production. But of course, Professor Rao, you mentioned some of those issues about how we resource distribution inequalities, which is a different aspect of it. So there have been perpetual anxieties about the population. And I don't think it's ever going to die down in the near future. And even to date, because being with UNFPA India, I cover Bhutan as well, which is now the fertility rate there is 1.8, and they have a population of only 700,000. We are really concerned about the decreasing population. And every time I visit Bhutan, ministers have pointed fingers at me and said, thanks to UNFPA, our population has decreased. And whereas you have other countries who are sometimes concerned about increasing population in some of those African countries. But generally, I'm happy to say the trend is shifting. People are seeing people as assets, population as assets. It's no coincidence that if you look at the largest economies in the world, India is currently the only economy which is growing at pace. So the population has something to do with it. And incidentally, India too experienced a population decline as well. In the 1921, the population growth rate went into minus 0.32, which is caused by the flu pandemic, etc. But since then, the population has grown in India. It's continued to grow. But although India has now achieved the replacement level of total fertility, it has come down. But fortunately, most of the countries in the world has now come to the realization that population changes are normal, that they have to live with it, that it's about individual freedom and rights. Just before India hit the 1.4 billion population, the world, in fact, hit 8 billion population. And again, this was picked up by the global media, 8 billion people in the world, how are we going to survive? But UNFPA, and I wish I had brought a copy of that report, the State of the World Population report we publish every year. We said this is not a challenge. 8 billion people mean that, it's 8 billion opportunities. People are living longer than ever before. People are living healthier, which means 8 billion people in the planet is a testament to the advancements we have made in science, health, and all the other progress that the humankind has made. So right now, we are in a kind of a crossroad in this ever-evolving population debate. And this particular theme, that 1.4 billion aspirations, one sustainable future, must not be viewed in isolation. It should be viewed in the global trends and larger geopolitical context which is happening in the world right now. So I'm going to make 3 points, majorly. First is the demography and the impact of demography in economy. Demography, I always say, resembles a tectonic plate. The movements affecting everything around it. Society, the economy, and even politics. If you look at even the historical context, post-war global population and growth and economic expansion occurred at a similar rate, about 2%, revealing a close interconnections between demography and the economy. Simplistically speaking, and I'm really trying to simplify things, so don't jump at me saying I have not taken other factors into consideration. If I can temporarily disregard factors such as migration, population dynamics hinges basically on 2 factors. One is fertility, that is the number of births, and longevity, the length of life. Similarly, the economy, expressed through GDP, relies on the number of individuals on the labor force and their per capita productivity. Essentially, the relationship between demography and the economy revolves around people. More births leading to larger labor force, which is what's happening right now in India. And often, when you have a large population and when you have a large younger population, we keep on talking about something called demographic dividend. And I know Professor Sharma, we have had in the past, the theme has been on demographic dividend as well. But one thing I want all of you to consider is that the demographic dividend is not automatic. It's not natural. What is natural is demographic transition. There is a demographic transition is happening, but how well countries make use of it, how well they invest in their young people, how well they equip them with skills, that would actually determine whether the country can reap the demographic dividend or not. I always say sometimes it can be a demographic disaster as well. Imagine you have a large young population who are not skilled, who don't have jobs, who are sitting idle, then you are asking for trouble. So whether you reap the demographic dividend or whether it ends up as a demographic disaster, it's how it depends on how countries approach to it and how much resources, how much investment that comes into it. I also want to make another point. The second point I want to mention is the population and megatrends. You see that we always talk about climate, environment, space, and population, kind of in the same context. This correlation is not without reason. The UN has now outlined what we call as the megatrends, such as migration, climate change, which India, I'm happy to say, has taken the lead in advocating for it, urbanization, digitization. These trends are going to exert a more significant influence than ever before. Already, there are challenges regarding the capacity of cities. If I just take the issue of urbanization and migration. By 2050, cities are projected to accommodate half of the global population, up from 35% right now. So, are we prepared for this? Have we contemplated the strains that the cities will endure when such a large number of people move into urban settings? Migration is another trend as well. Again, by 2050, 50% of India's population will live in urban areas. Are we prepared? On one hand, you want migration, you want development, but on the other hand, you also want to balance it out with sustainable development, climate change concerns. How are we going to do that? So there are these mega trends. Aging is another mega trend. India is a young country, but there is a cohort of people, especially in the southern part of country, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, people who are aging. Are we preparing for them? Are we equipping them with the skills? So there are these mega trends happening. Again, I'm not going into aging because Professor Sharma, I remember a few years back, we had a whole session dedicated to aging in one of those IASP conferences as well. But the request is, especially for demographers, we need to keep this larger global context and mega trends into considerations, especially in your research. So that brings to my third and final point, is the changing role of demographers. Generally, demographers in India have been focused on researching the high rate of population growth, the causes behind it, family planning, gender, the role of education, social development, etc. But India has already achieved the replacement level of fertility, as I mentioned. So there has been a shift towards, I see, especially in terms of young demographers. Now they are studying more about the inherent population dynamics and the changes in age structure. So this has actually brought the demographic dividend and population aging, those issues to the forefront, and has helped to create a debate around it, so which is great. But is that enough? And that's my question. Yes, these are some of the new areas, but can the demographers go beyond that? Before I start talking about some of those new areas demographers can consider, which I'm already warning you, can be contentious, you might not agree with it. I just wanted to highlight another point as well. We at UNFPA, we pride ourselves as being the data agency. We do a lot of research, operational research, assessment, baseline surveys, you name it, we do it. But often I get surveys and statistics which I can't make any sense of it. I'll give you a couple of examples. One from my own organizations, UNFPA. Few years back, we had put in a lot of money in one particular district in Madhya Pradesh, where we wanted to expand the family planning services for young married couples, because the uptake was very low. So we have poured in millions of dollars. Few years had gone. The results have come. It was touted as a big success story, So I got the results, looked at it. Yes, it has gone up, but there's no control district. So I could not, from that assessment, make head or tail out of it, whether it was due to our interventions or it was because of larger forces happening. The education has gone up, government investment have gone up. So what's the point of a research like this? It doesn't make sense at all. I'll also give you another example from outside world. I was looking at another study where they have actually researched the people who have survived airline crashes. These are like incidences where there have been accidents, airlines have crashed, and people who have survived. And they've interviewed them, and the results are fascinating. There are some fascinating anecdotes. But the major finding was 80% of the people who have survived airplane accidents, they have paid attention to the flight safety announcement. Like once you start the flight, people come in and say, if the oxygen marks drop, you wear it first before you put it to kids. This is where exit. So 80% of people who have survived these flight crashes have paid attention to it. So the study concludes it's important that you pay attention to it. I looked at it. I said, again, I can't make sense of it, because you have not interviewed the people who have died in the crash. Maybe 100% of them paid attention and still died. So I often see studies and assessment like that, which on the face of it looks great, but when you dig a bit deep, they don't give me the details or substance which I need to influence policies and programs. And that is my next point I want to make. We have some of the top minds in the country here, and many of the young researchers and demographers in this room. Research is great. We need more research. But the research needs to lead to something. Ideally, a research needs to lead to policy or program change. And how do we do it? And one of the things researchers and UN agencies are also guilty of this. We do it, make it in such a complicated way. No one outside our fraternity can make head or tail out of it. And this is a complaint I have of my team. Every time we go and present to a government official, IAS official or a minister, it's peppered with UN jargons. Even after spending 20 years in the UN, even I still can't make sense of it. So just imagine an IAS officer who's extremely busy, who has given you 15 minutes, he's not going to make sense out of it. And that's what I'm also seeing with a lot of the young researchers, if I may say. So doing great research is one thing, but then how do you also communicate to the external stakeholders? How do you communicate that to the policymakers? That is absolutely important. And I think that is one area the young demographers need to focus on. Make it simple. Do it through storytelling. Do it through visual aids. So policymakers and people who can make the decision can make use of this, your studies, assessment, and findings, and that will lead to sustainable policy change. Finally, my point, which, at UN, we always say we are not supposed to get political. So I'm now going to get political without trying to get political. I see people recording, so which is kind of worries me, but still, let me take the gamble. 2 months back, I had a round table with parliamentarians in Delhi. And this was a delegation across party lines, from the ruling party, from the oppositions, from the regional parties. So we had a good number of people, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, so which was great. And we were talking about demographic dividend, and what the policymakers can do about it. And one of the points, some of the other experts, there were also experts in addition to parliamentarians who were making was, look, India has a young population, but then you have states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu where you don't have a working population. So those states should make use of the young population from states like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Because in your states, you don't have young working population. And I don't know if you go to Kerala or Tamil Nadu, you will see. Since I'm from Sri Lanka, I've been visiting India for most of my life. 20 years back, you go into a restaurant in Tamil Nadu, you will only find Tamil speakers. Now you go, it's actually very difficult to find people who can speak Tamil, because most of the people are from Bihar and from northern India. So that researcher was making that point, but India has a great opportunity. You don't have to worry. The labor force will come from other parts. This is like a win-win situation for both, which was great. I thought, okay, that was great. Point, states could work together, this works well. But of course, one thing I failed to realize was to consider the political impact of it. Because the MPs from those particular states were not very happy. And they said, all this is fine, but they are coming and changing our population structures. What if they get the voting rights in our place? And of course, that then descended into a kind of a political debate. Some of them were also making the point, we have advanced, we have managed our population well, we have educated our women, we are now being penalized. So they made it clear, okay, you can come, but it has to be in a systematic manner. We can't just open doors, because that will upset the whole population trends there. And you see some of these anxieties in the news. There have been reports which are there. This is the ground reality, and we cannot close our eyes to it. If we don't consider these, how are we going to make research? And that is my request to young demographers, especially. We can talk about age, population, gender, all those things, which is great. But I think the time has come, especially in India. Now we move beyond those traditional areas and consider the impact of politics as well. I think that is the need of the hour. For example, I think if I'm not mistaken, given that I'm Sri Lankan, excuse my ignorance, I think the parliamentary seats were devised based on the 1971 census. That's another hot topic which came during the debate of the parliamentarians. Some of them were worried if, based on the new census, whether they are going to reallocate the seats. So there are serious considerations for them. But if we speak in a vacuum, without realizing these ground realities, we are not going to be able to make a real impact. So I think my request again to IASP and especially to the young demographers here, because I think you can make that difference, is to consider these ground realities and integrate them into your research so we can bring about real change, speak to the policymakers, and your research and your work will really lead to the sustainable development goals. I know I have taken already more time, but with that, friends, thanks. It's been a wonderful opening session, privilege to listen to some of the best minds in the country, and I really look forward to the discussion, and I seriously hope you would consider some of those points which I have raised, especially about going beyond the traditional areas in the upcoming sessions and in your deliberations as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Dhanyavad.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today. Your perspective has undoubtedly enriched our discussion, sir. And to grace our conference with unparalleled wisdom, we have the honor of welcoming Padma Shri Professor Digambar Behera, whose illustrious career and contributions to pulmonary medicine have not just saved lives, but have also inspired countless others to pursue excellence. His address is eagerly anticipated and is sure to leave a lasting impression on all of us. Sir, please.
A very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable dignitaries on the dais. I think I am not going to name everybody, you have heard them, and dear fellow delegates. At the very outset, I am very much privileged to be amongst you, the top social scientists, the technologists are here, and I feel I do not know why Professor Pradhan called me to be the chief guest here. Since then, I am just thinking I will be a misfit. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will try to fit into my role as a health specialist. I mean, whatever may be my area, if I think myself to be a specialist. My entire career is a particular area of medicine, that is pulmonary medicine or respiratory medicine, that is chest diseases. So I thought how I will be fit, and of my 45 years of working in the field, I have realized actually what is the importance of, as a physician, I just know putting a stethoscope to the patient or just giving an injection or just reading the blood reports is possibly not enough. Most of my work is in the field of tuberculosis. The TB control program, of India. Earlier it was named as RNTCP, or the revised National TB Control Program. Now it is renamed as the National TB Elimination Program. Our Honorable Prime Minister has declared that we should end TB by the year 2025, that is 5 years ahead of the WHO goals. The WHO said it should be 2030, but Shri Modi ji told no, we should do 5 years ahead of that. So I am just trying to share some of my thoughts about that and how you people, you the scientists, are helpful to us. The two important issues, we have the largest number of TB cases in the world, about roughly around 25 lakhs of new cases of TB we diagnosed every year in the country. For the TB, it is very simple. As a physician, I said it is caused by a bacteria, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Then you just do the tests under the microscope. So you diagnose it is TB, and once you diagnose, you just give 4 drugs for 6 months, so it should be cured. But the question is, why it is not cured? Why you are not able to eliminate TB? I think that is where the help of, I understand, the help of the social scientist and you people is required. When the treatment is given free, when the diagnosis is free, and we know everything about TB, but still it is a problem for us, and we are not going, even if with due excuse to the Honorable Prime Minister, I could see here that, by 2025, we are not going to eliminate TB in India. It will not be possible the way the number we are seeing. I think that is where your help comes, even if everything is free. What is the population behavior? Why the people are not coming forward for getting the diagnosis, or why they are not coming forward to get the treatment? And even if the treatment is available, where they are not completing 6 months of treatment, that is what is the population behavior. The second thing, I think you heard about the nutrition. We know very well that nutrition is very, very important. Malnutrition or undernutrition is the most common factor for, the causation of tuberculosis, because the research has very clearly shown that tuberculosis is mainly contributed by undernutrition. Therefore, one of the targets of our TB elimination program is to give good nutrition to the population. So we give around 500 rupees per month to the patient by the direct benefit transfer, or what we call the DBT. But the problem here is, it is just as a physician I say, yes, give good nutrition to the patient. But you just think, in a family, if there is a female, she is having TB, and then she is getting the TB drugs, but then she is getting 500 rupees. But when I think that, do you think if you give the nutrition to the mother, do you think when the child is underfed, do you think that 500 rupees she is going to eat good nutrition? No. When the family does not have got food, do you think she is going alone to take those nutritious food? No. So I think therefore again the social scientist has to come in. Then you have to tell me, no, doctor, it is just not possible giving 500 rupees to the patient when the child is not fed, the child is not eating, the family is not getting. So we have to integrate things like, yes, so that the child in the family, say he or she should be getting adequate nutrition, maybe through the midday meal system, or the family, they should get the, the feeding they should get, maybe the public distribution system should be robust enough so that everybody is fed. It is just not you can give, but for me, I have got only one patient, I can only give 500 rupees or 1000 rupees. I think that is where the integration between the social scientist and the, the medical profession need to come. The second thing I think you have already, your main goal is the aspirations. It is the aspiration of 1.4 billion population. It is not, it cannot be only just 1.4 billion aspiration, because everybody does not have got only one aspiration. We have got many aspirations. So it is the aspirations of 1.4 billion population. The 2030 agenda for the sustainable development, adopted by the United Nations member states in 2015, provides a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for the people and the planet now and into the future also. At the heart, there are 17 SDGs, you all know better than me, and with the 169 targets. Unfortunately, the special edition report that has come up this July 2023, that is not very actually encouraging, sir. And I was also a little disappointed when I went through these reports. So that shows very clearly that we are leaving more than half the world behind. Then progress on more than 50% of targets of the SDGs is weak and insufficient. On 30%, it has stalled or gone into reverse. These include key targets on poverty, hunger, and climate. Unless we act now, the 2030 agenda could become an epitaph. Epitaph, it is just an obituary, on a tombstone, whatever is written. So that is what is going to do that. And unfortunately, things like the recent conflicts in the world, that is the Russia-Ukraine war, and then recently, that the Hamas in the Gaza crisis, the Israel-Palestinian war, whatever, maybe the politics behind it, that is a different issue. But I think ultimately, our SDGs are going to suffer because of these human conflicts in the world. So the developing countries are the ones that are going to bear the brunt of these difficulties that is happening. So in a nutshell, the report provides a powerful call to action, presenting a candid assessment of the SDGs based on the latest data and estimates, while highlighting the existing gaps and urging the world to redouble its efforts. The report also emphasizes the immense potential for success through strong political will and the utilization of available technologies, resources, and knowledge. Together, the global community can reignite the progress towards achieving these goals. So I understand that the Indian Association for the Study of Population is a professional body of population scientists, demographers, economists, statisticians, health professionals, development researchers, and practitioners, social scientists, and other related experts. The IASP promotes and enables demographics, health, and many other issues which you have just heard very eloquently. So this will provide a platform for demographers and social scientists to showcase research findings on these key areas. Now coming to the issue of health, as you know, health according to the World Health Organization, it is defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. In general, the context in which an individual lives are of great importance for both his health status and quality of life. It is increasingly recognized that health is maintained and improved not only through the advancement and application of health science, but also through the efforts and intelligent lifestyle choices of the individual and the society. According to the WHO again, the main determinants of health include the social and economic environment, the physical environment, and the person's individual characteristics and behavior. So, historically, the Indian commitment to health development has been guided by two basic principles. The first is the state responsibility for health care, and the second, that is the medical care for all and not merely to those who are unable to pay. Our country began with a glorious tradition of public health, as seen in the reference to the description of the Indus Valley civilization, which mentions Arogya as reflecting holistic well-being. Again, we all know the slokas from the Rig Vedas that shows that Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pasyantu, Ma Kasit Dukha Bhavantu. That meaning, may all be happy, all be free from disease, be witness to all auspicious events, and no one has to be a part of sorrow. Today, we are a country with a tremendous diversity. You heard everything. We have got both our own weaknesses and our own strengths. So, to bring into sharp focus the global commitment of WHO to achieve the SDGs, that is the target 3.8, so we have to work forward, and I think many developments that has been done. You heard about the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Yojana, that is the BPMJ, the government schemes to make healthcare affordable for everybody, the much desirable National Digital Health Mission or the NDHM will help create an integrated nationwide database. The government of India has made concerted efforts in putting into action all these policies and programs, so that you heard about the population growth, the mortality rates, the life expectancy has grown. I think that is, again, that is an opportunity and that is also a challenge. You have heard very nicely from Haridass ji. So, it can be used as it can be our weakness, and also it can be our strength. You know, by 2021, actually our life expectancy is going to be 85, 86 years. And many of our mortality rates, our growth rates, they are to some extent they are being under control. I think again you heard about the corona. I think I will again write to, as a health professional, I like to talk about our strength about the COVID. You see, during when the COVID occurred, so it was devastating. The main important issue, why do you know so many people died? Obviously, nobody knew about COVID, and our critical care was very, very, I should say, it is dismal. The critical training in the country or availability in the country were only confined to the tertiary care hospitals. Nobody had the idea how to run a ventilator. Actually, it is actually very, very surprising. I was given the charge of to monitor the critical care given in the state of Punjab. So while I was, I think I cannot reveal it here. Nobody knew it is just MBBS doctors. What to know about critical care, even very high-ended specialists, they know about the critical care. Only very few, hardly less than 1% of the required critical care specialists were available at that particular point of the time. But I think the country came up. The ventilators, we had got only, if it is just count, we had got only, roughly India was estimated to have only 40,000 ventilators by March 2020, of which 8,432 were with the public sector. The government aimed to double the capacity of the ventilators by June 2020, with assistance from the PSUs, farms and startups, including Bharat Electronics, DRDO and ISRO. They came up. This led to creation of some of the world's smallest and cheapest ventilators. And very quickly we came up and could provide ventilators. Production lines were repurposed to manufacture general personal protective equipments, the N95 masks and other protective equipment that was used during COVID. Do you know the production capacity at that time was zero? The country was not producing any. But very strangely, you see, India was producing around 2 lakh PP kits per day and 2,50,000 N95 masks per day in May 2020, compared to the virtually zero, as I was telling you shortly before. This shows how together we can fight any issue with a vengeance. The vaccine development program, you heard that. Again, it is unparalleled, I should say, the way the vaccine, the research, their utility, and very quickly we could come. Any vaccine trial program is a Herculean task, to prove it, its efficacy, its safety, and its acceptability by the population. These three things are very important in any vaccination trial. And very quickly, and now it is more than 3 billion vaccines have been given, not only in our country. So even the exact figure is, it is more than 20 billion vaccine has been given. And as Professor Rao has already told you, it is not only our own country, we could give it now 25 countries are getting Indian vaccines. So that is, I think, a tremendous capacity for our country to develop, and then we have got now 3 or 4 different vaccines for COVID, and then we are self-sufficient. Not only that, many other vaccines, for TB. You see, I think very silently, let me tell you, we are under trial, and fortunately, I am the chairman of this TB vaccination program by the ICMR. About 12,000 people are now under follow-up for the last 4 years. We are doing that. We are every day we are reviewing that, and then maybe again I can tell you that what is happening, what is the result, I can reveal it now, because the expert committee, once it is done, then it will be revealed. So maybe something like that will come up for the TB vaccine, and that will be again another contribution of India to the world as regards the TB vaccination program is concerned. Now coming to the how the institute like Professor Rao's institute, how they are fitting into. We know that is the e-health, the digital health, the other thing he talked about, the telemedicine. Currently, again I will come back to the TB control program. We need the chest X-ray is one of the important diagnostic tools. Unfortunately, we do not have sufficient radiologists in the country. The artificial intelligence now is telling us, okay, the particular X-ray, through the artificial intelligence, it tells whether it is normal or abnormal, whether it is TB or non-TB, like it may be pneumonia, it may be lung cancer, it may be occupational lung disease. And thirdly, it is telling, no, it can be accurately, it will be TB. So that within less than a minute, it will be read, and then it will be told that, okay, this patient is having TB. So fortunately, I am part of that team. So we are evaluating that. Over 1 lakh X-rays are being studied, and again, very soon we are going to come out with a report. So this is how this is one example of artificial intelligence. And then the third thing is the robotic surgery, sir. Here in the robotic surgery, actually the surgeon does not do anything. He sits in a room, and through the computer command, he tells that, okay, do this surgery. In many of the surgeries in the body, now they will tell, okay, you remove, you cut this much, you leave out this much, and then sitting in a room, and then the robotic that does the surgery. So these are some of the points, ladies and gentlemen, which I think the technologists like the our artificial intelligence, or the robotic surgery, and the many areas. You people as the population scientist, you will tell me, okay, this particular population has got, these are the characteristics of the population. This is the age group, this disease is common. This is the geography where this disease is common. This is the nutrition, type of nutrition the population is taking. So then as a physician or as a doctor, so then I can predict that, okay, these are the population, they will have, these diseases will be common. Then the technologists like Professor Rao, they will tell me through their intelligence, through their digital, through their computer, and through their other means, they will tell me. So I will analyze the huge volume of data so that I can make a diagnosis, this can be disease. So at the end, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just like to tell you that what we can do is to work together towards generating an ecosystem where everyone has a role and an opportunity to participate and contribute towards not only to the economic growth, also our health system, to make a fair living irrespective of our parochial distinctions of caste, class, and religion, so that everyone has a satisfactory access to the health, housing, education, and prosperity, and all around development. I wish the conference a great success and hope the deliberations will help in fulfilling the aspirations of 1.4 billion Indians in particular, and the whole humanity in general, for a bright and prosperous future. So Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
We extend our heartfelt thanks to you, sir, for an enlightening discourse on India's commitment to eradicating TB, the 2030 agenda, in alignment with the sustainable future in the field of medical science. Thank you for your invaluable contribution. As we move towards the conclusion of this inaugural session, we will witness the release of 3 books that encapsulates the wealth of knowledge that IASP stands for. The first book being called Demography India, Volume 52, Issue 1, Chief Editor Professor A.K. Sharma, Managing Editor Dr. Gurakesh, Dr. Priyanka Yadav. I would request the editors to please join us on the stage. The second book, called Population Health and Development Experiences and Challenges, edited by Dr. Jitendra Yadav and Dr. Anil Chandra. Now, the third book, Health and Demography in Northeast India, a Regional Perspective by Dr. Suresh Sharma. Thank you, everyone. Professor Usha Ram will also announce now the awards and awards recognizing the outstanding contributions to the field of population studies, along with few concluding remarks. Ma'am, please.
Esteemed dignitaries on the dais, Chief Guest Padma Shri, Professor Digambar Behera, former Dean Research and Head of the Pulmonary Medicine Department, PGIMER, Chandigarh, Mr. Sriram Haridass, Mr. William Hanlon Jr., Mr. Dr. Professor K. Umamaheshwar Rao, Director, Professor Narayan Sethi, Head of the Department, Dr. Jalandhar, Professor, Department of Humanities and Social Science, who is also a convener of this conference, my IASP colleagues on dais, Professor Sharma and Dr. Jitendra, my other colleagues here, distinguished invitees, my senior colleagues, my teachers, students, friends, media representatives, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskara and a very good morning, Shubh Prabhat to all of you. In this beautiful NIT campus, which is located in the beautiful city of Rourkela and stands for a vibrant blend of serenity and cultural heritage. On behalf of the IASP and my personal behalf, I am delighted as I welcome you all to this opening ceremony of the IASP 44th Annual Conference. I hope your journey was safe to this conference and you are all comfortable in your own spaces. If there are any lapses, please forgive us for that, because we could do whatever we could do given the resources that we have with us. So thank you very much for taking your time out and to spend these 3 days with us in this conference. As a nation, we take pride, extreme pride in saying that India is a land of diversities and how beautifully actually it has embraced one and all. It gives me immense pleasure and sense of achievement, not only as a population scientist, but also as a proud daughter of a freedom fighter, to say that we are a unique nation and the world's largest democracy and have made tremendous progress and emerged as a global leader. In November 2022, the mother planet embraced 8th billion baby. A few months later, we officially acquired the status of world's most populous country after surpassing China in April this year. The country is expected to grow until mid of this century, will be 1.7 billion by 2050s. Dramatically falling birth rates have forced several countries which are struggling with dwindling labor shortage. Although currently India is a young nation, and it has been reiterated by my previous speakers in the morning, and it offers a vibrant young workforce, giving India a huge demographic advantage over others. However, and I recall Dr. Sriram Haridass cautioned all of us, and I think it's very true, that this disadvantage will not come in its natural sense. It needs to be translated into disadvantage after investing into efforts for skill development of the young people who would then eventually be an asset for this nation and contribute towards the economic and social development of the country. We also at this time need to recognize that many Indian states have reached the fertility levels which are far below replacement. And there are many more states who would soon join this group where the falling birth rates would be a consistent concern for all of us, which is going to lead into issues that are going to be very different from what we have been so far experiencing with in terms of reduction in fertility rates. Aging has its own challenges and comes with several challenges which are not same as what we have been used to dealing with in terms of our past efforts and experiences. So we have to prepare ourselves as a nation in order to address with the changing needs of the population, which is simply because of the demographic transition that is taking place in the country, and wherein we will soon be seeing a nation with many more people entering in old age. It is therefore need for the hour that the population scientist must come forward and critically review the state of population and health well-being of its people and provide solutions in terms of management of population and resources. More specifically, we must identify newer strategies to make healthcare accessible, affordable, equitable, with content quality to elevate health and well-being of one and all, acknowledging that the growing elderly population has very different needs for their physical, social, economic, and psychological well-being. Another side of the story that we must concurrently debate and discuss is how to create a sustainable future, including tackling climate change and reversing natural loss. No individual organization or discipline alone can achieve this, since creating a sustainable future requires good decision making and engagement with complex social, economic, and environmental challenges. Thus, a true partnership with the key stakeholders such as governments, business, and communities is critical for a better world. The SDGs have shown how business, government, and civil societies can collaborate to reach this goal of sustainable future. It is critical to bring social, environmental, and economic development dimensions together into a single agenda. The IASP, as a professional body, as an association, takes lead in initiating debates and discussions on these critical concerns for India specifically. It is in this context that the 44th Annual Conference of the IASP has selected a theme which is 1.4 billion aspirations, one sustainable future, unfolding India's path to development. For I request every one of you to share your wisdom and ideas in the next 3 days to make this effort more insightful and professionally productive to us, the scientists, and to help the support policymakers and program implementers develop evidence-based strategies towards achieving the best of health and well-being for one and all. After we conclude this opening ceremony, we will have a tea break, which will then be followed by a plenary session at 11:30 in this very auditorium. We'll have 6 very distinguished speakers who would deliberate on data gaps and methodological challenges in addressing public health issues in the context of SDGs. Post-lunch, we will all gather here in the same auditorium to felicitate and celebrate the contribution of 4 senior demographers. I'm excited to announce that Professor Sudesh Nagia, our past president of IASP, a stalwart in the subject, would deliver George Simmons Memorial Lecture today at 4 p.m. in this very auditorium. And she will deliver on gender equality and women's empowerment in India, status and challenges. She has chosen a theme that I personally believe is very, very critical for country's development. I urge you all to attend the same at 4 p.m. in this hall. The day ends with a beautiful note as we have a cultural program that our local organizers have organized for all of us to enjoy the local heritage of Odisha. I am confident that the learning from conference proceedings in plenary and technical sessions would go a long way enriching our understanding as social scientists and academicians. Further, they would help guide policies and programs by providing critical inputs for program corrections to enable future improvements in population health and well-being. I assure that the IASP will pursue important findings and suggestions based on the conference discussions to the concerned program managers. As some of you are aware, the IASP recognizes and awards researchers and scholars for their outstanding contribution in the field of demography population studies. Every year, 4 awards instituted in the names of internationally renowned Indian demographers are given to the selected researchers and scholars during the IASP annual conferences. These include Professor K.B. Pathak Award, which is presented for the best paper published by a young and mid-career scholar in the field of demography, population and health, and published in a peer-reviewed journal of high impact factor. Professor K. Srinivasan Award is presented for the 2 best research, one each on technical and substantive field by a young and mid-career scholar published in our very in-house journal Demography India, published by the IASP. Professor C. Chandrasekharan Award presented for the best paper authored by a young researcher, preferably a solo researcher, and is presented at the IASP annual conference. Usually we select from the abstract submitted to the IASP conference 4 to 5 papers on an average for the presentation to compete for Chandrasekharan Award in an open session with the selection members participating in the presentation and questioning the presenters and so on. The committee decides who would be given the award. The last award is in the name of Professor S.N. Singh, which is presented for the best poster authored and presented by young scholars at the IASP annual conference. The winner of these awards are selected by a panel of 3 members appointed by the Executive Council of the IASP. The association has developed a guideline for each of these awards, which is accessible on the IASP website. The panel evaluates applications and recommends the awardees. I'm pleased to announce that the expert panel recommended the paper entitled Multivariate Decomposition of Gender Differentials in Successful Aging Among Adults in India, published in BMC Geriatrics in 2023, co-authored by Mr. Shobhit Srivastava, T. Muhammad, R. Paul, and K. A. Khan. I am pleased to announce that the panel of experts recommended the paper entitled Household, Individual and Episodic Incidence of Illness, Hospitalization and Health Spending in India 2017-18, authored by Uday Shankar Mishra, Sanjay K. Mohanty and Umakant Sahu as the best technical paper published in Demography India in the year 2023 for Professor K. Srinivasan Award. I am pleased to announce that the panel of experts recommended the paper entitled Migration Through Aspiration, a Model-Based Investigation, authored by Ardendu Banerjee, Arindam Gupta and Ashish Kumar Chattopadhyay as the best substantive paper published in Demography India for the year 2023 for Professor K. Srinivasan Award. And we will also have the award for the other 2 poster session as well as Chandrasekharan Award. All these awardees winners would receive their certificate and cash prizes in our valedictory session, which is scheduled to be held pre-lunch on day after, that is 3rd day of the conference. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and I look forward for your very, very active participation into this next 2.5 days discussing, deliberating, fighting, arguing, everything possible that we can do to make sure that the subject of the demography and population science grow, nothing else but only for the name of subject of population science. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, ma'am. The moment has arrived to honor the distinguished individuals who have graced this occasion with their presence. I humbly invite our respected Director, sir, to bestow the mementos upon our esteemed guests. Firstly, to our chief guest, the esteemed Padma Shri recipient, Professor Digambar Behera, as a token of our profound respect. Following to the President of the ISP, Professor Suresh Sharma, whose leadership continues to inspire us all. Next, a warm tribute to Mr. Sriram Haridass, whose contributions have been invaluable. We will extend our regards to Mr. William Hanlon Jr. with a memento reflecting our collective admiration. To Professor Usha Ram, we present this memento in recognition of her remarkable dedication to academia. And to Dr. Jitendra Yadav in appreciation of his significant scholarly endeavors. The honors continue as I call upon Professor Jalandhar Pradhan to present a token of our gratitude to our Honorable Director, Professor K. Umamaheshwar Rao, for his visionary guidance. In the same vein, I request Professor Jalandhar Pradhan to felicitate our esteemed head of the department, Professor Narayan Sethi, whose wisdom steers us towards excellence. Lastly, I would invite Professor Suresh Sharma to felicitate the convener of the conference, Professor Jalandhar Pradhan, for orchestrating this monumental event with such fineness. We thank you all for your invaluable contributions and for being a part of the ceremonious occasion. To encapsulate our gratitude and the essence of today's gathering, Dr. Jitendra Yadav will now deliver the vote of thanks, a gesture that reflects our appreciation for every individual contributing to the success of the conference.
Hello. So I can read, all are waiting for high tea. So just bear us only for 2 minutes. Respected delegates, esteemed guests and distinguished colleagues, Namaskar and warm welcome to the ISP at NIT Rourkela. It is my great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the ISP, behalf of the local organizing committee and on my personal behalf. So I would like to begin by expressing our heartiest gratitude to all honorable guests and delegates who have graced with us their presence, making the conference a truly remarkable event. First and foremost, I express my sincere thanks to our Honorable Director, Professor K. Umamaheshwar Rao, for his unwavering support and continuous to success the conference. Your commitment and assistance have played a pivotal role in the ensuring the success of the conference. Thank you, sir. I would like to express my gratitude to today's guest of honor, Mr. William, UNICEF, Odisha, for delivering an inspiring special address. Your presence and address immense value of our on this ISP conference. We are honored to have Mr. Sriram Haridass, Deputy Representative of UNFPA India, who delivered the keynote address. Your insight and expertise have enriched the understanding the conference in the theme. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Padma Shri, Professor Digambar Behera, former Dean Research and Head of the Pulmonary Medicine, PGIMER, Chandigarh, and for his presence as a chief guest. Your wisdom has experience and have left the inevitable mark in this conference. I also thanks to Professor Narayan Sethi, Head Humanities and Social Science. Furthermore, I express my sincere thanks to leadership of ISP, including Professor Suresh Sharma, Professor Usharam, General Secretary, all EC and BOT members, especially to Dr. Ajay Singh as a Joint Secretary for unwavering commitment, guidance and support throughout the preparation and execution of the conference. The success of all events like in this mark and dedication, I would like really extend my gratitude to man behind the conference. Please big clapping to Professor Jalandhar Pradhan and his team, namely Tamal, Vijeta, Vinayak, Geeta, Tapas, and all volunteers who have worked tirelessly and ensured the success of this conference. I really thanks from the bottom of my heart to the team member of NIT for their day and night for making this conference a great success. A conference of this system requires the financial support. So, and we are grateful to our sponsor in this line. I wish to acknowledge the express of deep appreciation of substantial contribution of from NIT Rourkela, starting from the director, registrar, and others. And we believe that you are staying in the hotel or guest house, and they are giving the local transportation, and they are not going to charge any participant and as well ISP. So it all is free from NIT Rourkela. So thanks to director and others, Jalandhar Pradhan and other team. So we are honored to receive the inaugural financial support every year in the conference, either is annual, either as a regional conference from UNFPA. Thanks to dedication of Mr. Andrew Bejanar, Residence Representative of UNFPA, and Mr. Sriram Haridass, Deputy Representative of UNFPA. We are thankful to Mr. William and Saurabh Bhattacharya from UNICEF, Dr. Vaibhav, Dr. Ashok, Dr. Nirmala, Ms. Anuj Sarva, Muhammad Hussain, and Dr. Ajay Singh from USAID and PATH. We are grateful to have received financial support from IIPS Mumbai, always in annual and regional also. So in this line, with thanks to Professor S.K. Singh, Director in charge, and especially thanks to Professor Abhishek Singh, HOD, Center for Demography of the Gender. I also organized a very inside pre-conference workshop in the first time during the ISP conference. Our occasion is also goes to Population Council, and extreme thanks to Dr. Niranjan Sagruti and Dr. Rajiv Acharya is here for their support to making this event possible. If the conference is success, the credit goes to all participants. If for any reason, if all sort of encounter any challenges, ISP will take full responsibility along with the local organizing committee for the next few days of your stay at the NIT Rourkela. If you encounter any issue related to your stay, related to your food or any other aspect, please do not hesitate and reach out to us. We will do our almost the resolve to them. Still, if you face any type of inconvenience, we are extremely sorry for that. Lastly, I want to thank the media representative for covering our event to the wider audience. So thank you, and many this conference to resounding success, and we embark on this journey as said by our director, Professor Rao, that success is not the key of happiness. Happiness is a key to success. Thank you all. Namaskar.
With the dignitaries having illuminated our path with their wisdom and the lamp having set a serene ambience, let us proceed with the spirit of curiosity and collaboration that defines this conference. Welcome once again to a gathering that promises to be as enriching as it is enlightening. With a heart full of hope and a diary full of session to look forward to, let us embark on this intellectual odyssey with open minds and collaborative spirits. Let us take a short break to regenerate, and we will be meeting after a short tea break. The presenters who are yet to submit their PPTs, please upload it on the given link to you before 4 p.m. today. And presenters of poster presentations are requested to move to RM Hall and start their arrangement.